Okay, so today we're going to talk about creating the unit circle. Actually, we're not going to create it. We're just going to talk about how to read the unit circle. Creating will be next lesson. So before we get started, let's talk about the basics. So some of this hopefully is review from geometry. So hopefully they will come back to you. Okay, so an angle in standard position when the vertex is placed at the origin. That's really important. And the initial side is on the positive x-axis. The other ray forms angle is called the terminal side, and it's labeled for you. So this is important. So you'll see here is the terminal side. So the terminal side forms the angle. So let's just start with some vocab before we get into the lesson. So this is important because it's a lot of vocab today. Then you know the initial side is the positive x-axis. So if you hear the word it's in standard position, you know the vertex is at 0, 0. So sometimes they'll say standard position. They won't say 0, 0. So that's definitely some pre-cal information. So here's the vertex. So you will see all this again next year, but the more you get it now, the less stressful it'll be next year. Okay, the terminal side of angles with positive measures are formed by counterclockwise rotations. Angles with negative measures are formed by counterclockwise. So it looks like this. So counterclockwise. So your angle, I think I'll just draw a little grid. The angle will look like this. So counterclockwise, and that is a positive angle. Then the other one is, I'll just draw a little grid like this. If you go this way, that would be clockwise, and that would be a negative angle. So you can have a positive angle and a negative. Oh, let me show you can see it. Okay. So here's counterclockwise, and that's your positive angles. And then here goes this way clockwise, and that is your negative angles. So here, since 120 is more than 90, the terminal side is 30 degrees counterclockwise from the positive y-axis. So draw an angle in standard position with a measure of 120. So if you're going for standard position, you're starting at 0, 0, and then it says in standard position at 120. So this is what they're saying. It's you're going 90 degrees plus 30 more. That's what that is. This one says go negative 200. Well, negative 200 means, let's see, it's a glare. Let's turn this off. Hold on. Okay, so negative 200 would be you're going like this. So you're going this direction, like that. And then this one's you're going this direction, like that. So positive 120, and this is negative 180. It's half a circle, 180, and then 20 more. So that's what we're doing right there. Okay, so just a little vocab intro where you're going from positive is counterclockwise, and then negative is clockwise. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay, so now it says draw an angle in standard position with a measure of 9 pi radians. Since 9 pi radians is greater than 2 pi, the terminal side makes one full rotation plus an additional pi force radians. Okay, so a couple ways to look at it. Some of you are not, in the beginning here, you're not too familiar with radians. Most of you are probably not. So what we can do in the beginning is convert it to degrees because everyone's more comfortable with degrees. So 9 pi radians, 9 pi force, how do we turn that into degrees? So you learned in a prior lesson, you multiply by 180 over pi. Okay, so when you do that, do the math, get your calculator if you have to. That's a 405 degree angle. So you know, like it shows you in the picture, it's going to go around 360 plus how much more? Well, let's figure it out. So 405 minus one circle is 360. So 45 degrees more. So what you're doing is you're going here, start on the x-axis, the positive x-axis, and then you're going to go counterclockwise. It's positive 360, 360 plus 45 more. And so therefore, that's your 405 degree angle. Or you could say this is a 9 pi fourths angle. This little piece here went pi fourths more. This is the terminal side. It's where it stopped. What else? Oh, make sure you guys, we know what 360. Let's remind ourselves. 360 degrees is 2 pi. It's one rotation. 180 degrees is pi. These are the most common ones. 9 degrees is pi halves. And what's another one? That's probably good. Okay, so here, so they're saying 45 degrees cuts it in half, right? That's 45 degrees. Well, they're saying that 45 degrees is the same thing as pi fourths, and that's what happened here. So you went 360 degrees, or you went 2 pi plus pi fourths more. So this terminal side is at pi fourths, which we'll go into further. We can also say, so 405 degree angle and a 45 degree angle have the same terminal side. Very, very important. That's kind of what this lesson is about today, or the beginning of the lesson anyway. Okay, so this angle right here, if you start from this position, positive x-axis, and go this direction, you're stopping at this line that makes an angle. Well, that's pi fourths. That's pi fourths. But if you go here and go around and stop at the same line, like these are the same, these right here are the same line. Well, this is pi fourths, but since I went around, that's pi fourths plus 2 pi, that's 9 pi fourths. Well, they have the same terminal side. Terminal side is where you stop, like you terminate, so they stop at the same point. Okay, then it says draw an angle in standard position with a given angle measure. So if you want to pause the video, which I found out today that some of y'all do that, which is awesome. That's the whole point of the video, is like pause it, try these three, and then come back and see if it matches mine. So that's what I would do, is pause it and then come back. Okay, so it says 290. Well, 290, you have to figure that out. So where's 290? Well, this is what, 90, 180, 270, and like 20 more, something like that. And then you got to draw an arrow so you know you went that direction. So it's positive 290. Okay, this one is negative, so I know I'm going to go down. So this is 360. And then what is it? 360 plus 180. What's 360 plus 180? I'm sorry, 360 plus 90. Sorry about that. 0, 45, no, 450. So this is 360 plus 90 is 450. Plus what, 45 more is 495. So we're going to go this way, and then we're going to end halfway in the quadrant. So this is a negative 495 degree angle. Okay, next one, 5 pi 6. Here again, if you're not sure where that ends on the inner circle, which I don't expect you to yet, some of you will figure it out though, which is awesome. So what you can do is you convert it for now. Eventually, I don't want you to convert it anymore. I want you just to know where it's at. But for right now, it's okay. Pi's cross out. So you're left with 150 degrees when you do the math. So, sorry. Okay, so then where's 150 degrees? So then you put your pencil on the x-axis. That's where you always start. You go 90, and 90 plus what? 90 plus 60 is 150. So it's going to be past the halfway point a little bit more. So there is the positive 150 degree angle. All right. Then it says angles can have different rotations, but have the same initial and terminal sides, which is what we just did. Such angles are coterminal angles. Important word right here. Coterminal angles. So this right here, these right here are coterminal co-terminal angles. And the way I think about it is like co-workers work at the same place. So co-terminal means that the angles end at the same place. That's one way you can think about it. Okay, then it says, how can you find an angle that is co-terminal with a given angle, whether in degrees or in radians? Okay, so think a moment. I'm going to pause the video, answer the question, and come back. So one way to think about it is what? Add or subtract 360 degrees if your question's in degrees, or take a moment to go add or subtract what? Okay, good. Hopefully you said 2 pi. Okay, so that's how you can get coterminal angles, by add or subtracting 2 pi or add and subtracting 360, because that just means you're going around the circle. Okay, last page for these notes, and we're only going to go halfway today because they're kind of long. Okay, let's keep reading. Okay, so find one positive and one negative angle. So that means you're going to add and subtract. See how they did that? They did 225, and they added 360 to get another positive one. And then here you subtract 360 to get a negative one. Same thing here. Add 2 pi, subtract 2 pi. But just these kind of notes, though, what I did was instead of adding 2 pi, which I add 2 pi, that's a denominator of 3. So you need to ask yourself, what's a fraction of the denominator of 3 that's the same thing as 2 pi? So I added 6 pi thirds, so 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, so let's do this one. Find one positive one. Okay, 150. So I'll give you a moment to do A. So we're just going to do A and D. Oh, that's all. That's good enough. So if you want to pause the video again, do A and D. And then come back. Okay, so hopefully you did that. So a positive angle will be 510, and negative angle will be negative 210. Okay, 2 pi fifths. How do you get a positive angle? Well, we need to add 2 pi. So what is a fraction? That's 2 pi with a denominator of 5. Hopefully you said plus 10 pi fifths. So what does that give us? 12 pi. Then the other one would be 2 pi fifths minus 10 pi fifths. So that would be a negative 8 pi fifths. So hopefully you guys paused the video and you did that yourself. Hopefully you got it right. If not, you can chat. We can chat tomorrow or later today. Okay, next one. Draw an angle in standard position with a measure of 10 pi radians. Okay, so here again, if you're not used to it, which is totally fine, probably the first thing you want to do is times it by 180 over pi. Convert it to degrees. When you convert it to degrees, it's a little easier to understand on the circle because you guys know that 360 is a circle. So it definitely makes it easier. So when you do this, cross out the pi, 3 goes out 80, 60 times 3, so it's 600 degrees. Okay, so let's draw 600 degrees. So that would be how many times around the circle? So it'd be, put your pencil on the positive x-axis, it's positive, so you're going to go counterclockwise. So there is 360. So then how far I go? 360 plus 180. So if you want to do the math, 360, 180, 0, 14, 3, 4, 5, 540. So that's 540. So 540 plus 60 more, so more than halfway. Something like that. So there's a 600-degree angle. And you could go around twice. You could do greater than 720. So, okay. All right, next one. I think I skipped 3 because it's redundant. So don't worry about 3. Let's do 4, 5, and 6. So if you want to do 4 and 5 and 6 on your own, pause the video, then come back to the video. That's what I would do. Practice on your own. And some of you are doing that, which is amazing. Okay, are 520 and negative 560 coterminal. So basically to the end of the same spot. So let's take a moment. How would you figure out if they end at the same spot? Okay, hopefully you guys are thinking in your mind, what would you do to the 520? Well, you want to get to a negative 560, right? So what would you do with the 520? Okay, I would subtract 360 as well. So that means you're going to go take one full circle away. So you're left with 0, 6, 1. Okay, still don't know because we're going to see if we can get to that. So then you'll do 160. Will that work? Nope. 160. Then another thing you can do is you can keep subtracting 360 if you want. You can keep subtracting 360 and then see if it gets to negative 560. That's one way, I guess. And then another thing I did was I did negative 560 and I added 360 and I got a, let's see, negative 200. So 520 negative 560 coterm angles. Explain your answer. So let's see. So before you answer, this is how I did it. So there's a couple ways to do it. So 160, where does 160 end? So it's going to be what? 90 degrees plus what? 70 more? So 70 more right there. So that means that's like 20 right there. So that's where it ends. Okay, let's try this one. Negative 200. Well, negative 200 would be negative 180. 180 plus, 20 more. Oh, it is at the same spot. Now, it does not have to be on the same side as how we're just discovering. So that's interesting, right? It just has to end at the same terminal side. So if I subtracted 360 from this, 160, so it stopped right there at this line. That's 20 degrees in that angle. This one, negative 200, you go this way, and that's 20 degrees. Oh, it's the same one. So the answer is yes. Now, some of you, what you probably did, which I was about to do, if you go 520 minus 360, minus 360, minus 360 a couple times, you should get to negative 560. So some of you might have tried that, which that works as well. Okay, 5. Are 10 pi 6 and negative 28 pi 6. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this one differently. So 10 pi 6. I'm going to do the logic that I was just told you. So instead of drawing out the pictures, let's do it a different way. Okay, so we're going to subtract, what is 2 pi with the denominator 6? Okay, 12 pi. So I'm going to subtract 12 pi 6. And that gives me what, negative 2 pi 6, which is a third, but I'm just going to keep it that way. And then I'm going to subtract again. Negative 12 pi 6. I don't know why I put that there. Okay, so that's going to give us what? Negative 14 pi 6. Still don't know. So I'm going to subtract again. 12 pi 6. And that gives me negative 26 pi 6, which does not match, what, 28 pi 6. So the answer would be no. So one way we did it here is I did each angle individually and see where it stopped. That's one way, and compared where it stopped. Another way, this one, what I did was I took one angle and just kept subtracting and subtracting and subtracting to see if I could get to the other angle. So there's two trains of thought. They both are correct. So this is 26, this is 28, so the answer is no. Is there a limit to the number of coterm angles an angle can have? What do you think? Is there a limit based on what we just did here? So hopefully you say no. There is no limit because you can just like go around and around and around the circle as many times as you want. Infinity. Of course, infinity is not realistic, but no, there's no limit because you can just go around and around clockwise, around and around counterclockwise. Okay, so we are going to stop there, and then tomorrow we're going to finish the lesson because it's kind of long. So I will talk to you later. Okay.